I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated, and that there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings.
In a thought-provoking and almost spine-chilling twist, Elon Musk has just revealed disturbing details that has got many Christians rethinking their faith. These revelations could turn the tides of Christianity, our economy, and the technological world as you know it. What is this information, and what are its implications for the future of the church, the growing generation, and your daily life? Join us as we embark on this revealing yet equally thrilling journey. Let's begin with the fact that the Tesla CEO has a two-sided coin of favor in the Christian world. He is loved by some and totally despised by others. Not too long ago, Elon Musk, despite his groundbreaking technological contributions and innovations, faced criticism within certain Christian circles. Allegations of increased anti-Semitic hate speech on the social media platform, formerly known as Twitter and referred to as X, prompted thousands of Christians to denounce him. Faithful America, an organization advocating for social justice and opposing Christian nationalism, spearheaded a petition urging corporate advertisers to take action against Musk due to concerns about anti-Semitism on the platform. The petition, titled "Christians Condemn Elon Musk's Anti-Semitism," emphasized the gravity of the issue, warning that the platform's tolerance for hate speech poses a significant danger to the Jewish community and could potentially lead to violence if not addressed seriously. While Elon Musk has faced criticism within certain Christian communities, he has also demonstrated a more favorable stance on certain values of Christianity. Musk recently found common ground with rapper and social media influencer Zuby, who tweeted about the significance of Christianity in the West. Zuby likened the removal of Christianity from Western culture to destabilizing the foundations of a building, a sentiment shared by Musk. The CEO of X responded to Zuby's tweet, expressing agreement with the idea that the West might face challenges without Christianity. Moreover, Musk's support for the teachings of Jesus and his expressed desire to be saved align with aspects of the Christian faith. In a viral Bumblebee Christian podcast interview, Musk discussed his appreciation for Jesus' teachings and conveyed a personal interest in salvation. These instances highlight that Musk's relationship with the Christian community is double-edged, showcasing both points of contention and alignment with certain values. However, both ends of these communities cannot deny the recent details the tech billionaire has shared concerning the advancement of AI and its impact on Christianity in the near future, especially if they don't up their game. One such major game changer is his Neuralink brain implant project. Elon Musk's Neuralink project is like a new chapter in the book of technology. Imagine a tiny electronic chip that can be put into your brain, like a high-tech upgrade. Elon Musk, the mind behind this project, has some big dreams. First, he wants this chip to help people who can't walk, see, or hear, a superhero-like ability to fix these challenges. But he's not stopping there. Musk aims to create a highly advanced connection between our brains and computers, like a friendship where they work together. It's almost like merging our thoughts with artificial intelligence, making our brains a powerful team with machines. These goals might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but Musk is determined to make them a reality. The impact of Neuralink could be huge, changing how we live and interact with technology. The SpaceX CEO describes it as a sort of fit track for your skull, with tiny wires seamlessly integrated. The chip replaces a small piece of your skull, sitting flush and nearly invisible. The insertion process involves opening a part of the skull, removing a coin-sized piece, and then closing it up with superglue. It's almost like science fiction turned reality. The potential applications of this chip are nothing short of astounding. Musk envisions it as a game changer for people facing paralysis, offering the promise of restored mobility. Think of someone regaining the ability to walk or overcoming physical limitations. It's a glimpse into a future where disabilities may become a thing of the past. But Neuralink goes beyond just physical enhancements. Musk suggests that this chip could elevate our sensory experiences to a whole new level. Imagine being able to see and hear with capabilities far beyond what our natural senses allow. Electronic cameras and microphones connected to the chip could extend our vision and hearing beyond normal human limits. Employees at Neuralink even dream about creating a heads-up display, similar to what you'd see in a Terminator movie, where vital information is overlaid onto our field of view. The concept doesn't stop there. Musk hints at the possibility of electronic telepathy. Yes, You read that right. The exchange of thoughts directly, without speaking a word. It's like a futuristic form of communication that opens up a realm of possibilities for human connection. So, not only could this chip potentially bring back physical abilities, but it could also revolutionize the way we interact with the world and each other. The sheer scope of these possibilities is what makes Neuralink's technological advancements truly remarkable, and, for the Christian community, an undeniable threat. You'll understand why in a moment. Musk's ultimate goal with Neuralink is nothing short of revolutionary: the creation of a symbiosis between the human brain and artificial intelligence. Imagine your brain working in harmony with powerful AI, creating a connection that Musk envisions as a third layer above the limbic system and cortex. To break it down, the limbic system deals with emotions and memories, while the cortex is responsible for complex thinking and decision-making. The proposed third layer could potentially bring these two aspects together, forming a synergy that combines emotional depth with advanced cognitive abilities. What does this mean for humanity? Musk believes that by achieving this symbiosis, we could harness the collective will of people to control the world. It's like tapping into a shared consciousness that allows us to collectively shape our destiny. This concept might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but coming from Elon Musk, the man behind successful ventures like Tesla and SpaceX, it carries weight and captivates the imagination. The idea of collective human will controlling the world suggests a future where decisions are made collaboratively, guided by the combined intelligence and emotions of the masses. It's a bold and ambitious aspiration that raises profound questions about the nature of governance, ethics, and the responsibilities that come with wielding such power. In essence, Musk's vision for the future isn't just about enhancing individual capabilities. It's about going beyond our current limitations and creating a collective intelligence that could steer the course of humanity. Whether this vision becomes a reality or remains a thought-provoking concept is yet to be seen, but the mere possibility opens up a world of possibilities that could redefine how we perceive and navigate our existence. As we immerse ourselves in the awe-inspiring potential of Neuralink, one cannot deny the ethical dilemmas that emerge with this groundbreaking technology. While the promises of restored mobility and enhanced cognitive abilities are captivating, the ethical considerations surrounding brain-chipping technology are substantial and demand careful reflection. One of the foremost ethical concerns revolves around the fusion of human consciousness with artificial intelligence. The idea of creating a symbiosis between the brain and AI raises questions about the preservation of individuality. Will this integration blur the lines between personal thoughts and external influences? Critics fear the potential loss of autonomy as our minds become interconnected, opening the door to collective control that could infringe upon personal choices and beliefs. Neuralink's proposition of storing and circulating memories on the web raises ethical red flags. While the concept of saving memories as a backup might sound appealing, the implications of sharing such personal and intimate aspects of one's life with the digital realm are profound. Who would have access to these memories? What safeguards would be in place to prevent misuse or unauthorized access? These ethical concerns highlight the need for tighter privacy measures and clear boundaries when dealing with the complexities of memory storage and sharing. The potential for a chip to become an integral part of daily life raises concerns about individual freedom. If widespread adoption occurs, will those who choose not to undergo brain-chipping technology face societal exclusion or limitations in access to various services? The ethical implications extend to the societal pressure individuals might feel to conform to this technological advancement, potentially compromising personal autonomy. And so, bordering on the aspect of moral and ethical values, a core foundation in Christianity, Musk warns that these ethical considerations should not be an afterthought but an integral part of the ongoing dialogue surrounding the development and implementation of Neuralink and similar technologies. Only through mindful consideration and responsible innovation can we hope to navigate the ethical complexities that arise with the integration of advanced technology into the human experience. And Christians must be heavily involved in these conversations rather than resisting or breaking away from them. According to scientists, consciousness, a key concept discussed in the development of the chip, is viewed as a physical phenomenon exclusively tied to the brain's intricate network of neural activities. In essence, every perception, feeling, thought, or memory is considered a series of electrical signals or neural spikes within the brain. This stands contrary to what Christians and many religious people believe to be intangible and alive. Scientific researchers go on to assert that if the brain is damaged physically, it directly impacts consciousness, implying that consciousness is inherently a product of the brain. In the scientific framework, the brain acts as a control center for our entire consciousness. It emphasizes that everything we experience, from the joy of a sunset to the sorrow of loss, is a result of electrical activity in the brain. This perspective aligns with the broader scientific agreement that attributes consciousness and cognitive functions solely to the physical processes occurring within the brain. However, this viewpoint encounters challenges when considering cases where individuals exhibit cognitive function despite damaged or missing brain parts. Instances documented by neurologists and medical professionals tell stories of people who, by all expectations, should face severe cognitive impairments due to their brain conditions, but surprisingly do not. For example, the accounts of patients who've undergone brain surgeries that removed portions of their brains, yet retained normal cognitive abilities, challenge the idea that consciousness is exclusively tied to intact neural structures. Cases where individuals with significantly smaller than average brains function with normal or even above average intelligence present a challenge to the strict neural-based model of consciousness. The complexities deepen when examining the experiences of people during near-death situations. Numerous documented cases report individuals having clear and vivid consciousness during clinical death, where brain activity is presumed to be absent. These experiences, often described as out-of-body or near-death experiences, suggest that consciousness may transcend the limitations of the physical brain. In essence, while the scientific perspective aligns with the mainstream understanding, these counter-arguments highlight the need for a more careful approach to understanding consciousness. The complexities of the brain and its relationship with consciousness extend beyond a straightforward cause and effect relationship, inviting scientists and researchers to explore the mysteries that exist beyond the confines of traditional scientific models. But what about the soul? From a spiritual standpoint, the soul is often regarded as the essence of an individual, going beyond the limitations of the physical body. It's seen as the eternal and unique core that holds one's identity, emotions, and consciousness. This perspective suggests that consciousness is not merely a product of neural spikes in the brain, but a manifestation of something far more profound and enduring: the soul. St. Luke Wojno-Jasenecki, a surgeon with deep spiritual insights, challenges the idea that consciousness is solely a result of physical brain activity. His experiences with brain surgeries, where individuals exhibited cognitive function despite missing brain parts, led him to believe that the brain's role is more aligned with interacting with the external world than being the exclusive source of consciousness. St. Luke proposes that consciousness, thoughts, feelings, and the richness of our inner world reside within the domain of the spirit. According to his perspective, the brain serves as a tool for interfacing with the physical realm, but does not house the entirety of our being. He emphasizes that the spirit is the realm where memories are safeguarded inviolably, and it is within the spirit that the true wealth of our inner life is stored. These spiritual insights challenge the reductionist view that consciousness is purely a physical phenomenon. St. Luke's observations, coupled with similar instances of people functioning with damaged or even absent brain parts, urge us to consider that the complexities of consciousness extend beyond the limitations of our physical understanding. As we navigate the terrain of Neuralink and similar technologies, its potential impact on the spiritual aspects of human existence begins to stand out, raising a concern that drives the Church to recognize the diversity of perspectives on consciousness and address it promptly. The interplay between science and spirituality invites us to contemplate the complicated nature of the soul and the eternal mysteries that may not yield to purely materialistic explanations. The clash between scientific and spiritual perspectives on consciousness is rooted in fundamental differences in their approaches. Science often seeks to unravel the mysteries of existence through factual evidence and observable phenomena, while spirituality draws upon intangible and subjective experiences, exploring realms that transcend the physical. This is where the danger lays, especially for the Christian community, because we live in a materialistic world other than an intangible one, based on faith. The tensions arise when scientific models, including experts' perspectives on consciousness as a physical phenomenon, collide with spiritual notions that propose a deeper, non-material essence, the soul. Interestingly, even within the scientific realm, Elon Musk acknowledges the potential existence of consciousness in another dimension. He ventures into the realm of uncertainty by recognizing that what feels like consciousness might be an illusion. This acknowledgement mirrors a growing recognition within scientific circles that the nature of consciousness remains elusive, perhaps beyond the scope of conventional scientific inquiry. Musk's exception to the possibility of consciousness existing in a different dimension reflects humility in the face of the profound mysteries surrounding human awareness. It hints at the realization that our current understanding may only scratch the surface of a reality that transcends the physical and delves into dimensions yet unexplored. The question of whether consciousness is an illusion challenges not only Musk but all seekers of knowledge. The acknowledgement of this possibility prompts a deeper contemplation of the nature of reality itself. If consciousness is, in some sense, illusory, then what does that imply about our perceptions, our experiences, and the very essence of our existence? This question opens a dialogue between the factual and the metaphysical, inviting us to consider the limits of our understanding and the potential existence of dimensions beyond our current comprehension. It underscores the need for a holistic approach that embraces both scientific examination and spiritual introspection to gain a more comprehensive understanding of consciousness. Amid these clashes, there is another intriguing intersection of technological advancements and ancient prophecies, particularly examining the parallels drawn between Elon Musk's brain-chipping technology and the biblical prophecies found in Revelation 13:16-18. Revelation 13:16-18, a passage often interpreted as a prophecy about the end times, mentions the mark of the beast as a symbol of allegiance to a powerful entity. It speaks of people receiving a mark on their right hand or forehead, without which they cannot buy or sell. This ominous imagery has sparked countless discussions and interpretations over the centuries, with some seeing it as a warning against submitting to an evil force. In the context of Elon Musk's Neuralink and its brain-chipping technology, some individuals draw parallels between the futuristic implant and the foretold mark. The chip, once inserted into the brain, could serve as a means of identification, potentially overseeing transactions, access to services, and even altering the way people interact with the world. This connection sparks a thought-provoking conversation about the intersecting point of technology and ancient prophecies. For believers who hold religious convictions, the prospect of brain-chipping technology raises profound ethical and spiritual concerns. The idea of a chip becoming an integral part of daily life, impacting social interactions, and potentially intertwining with economic systems may evoke caution and resistance among those who view such developments through the lens of biblical prophecies. The concept of the mark of the beast has historically fueled apprehension among believers, as it is often associated with a choice that could compromise one's faith. The potential societal pressure to adopt such technology, whether for convenience or necessity, creates a tension for those who wish to stay true to their religious beliefs. As society stands at the crossroads of technological progress and spiritual beliefs, individuals and communities are compelled to contend with the potential implications. The dialogue extends beyond the technical aspects of Neuralink to include the broader ethical and spiritual considerations hidden in the intersection of technology and prophecy. This conversation between technological progress and religious convictions becomes a crucial conversation, urging societies to strike a delicate balance between embracing innovation and respecting diverse value systems before it's too late. In the midst of the technological whirlwind, there exists a timeless wisdom that echoes the importance of silence and solitude. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the idea that true self-discovery and connection with the divine come through moments of quiet reflection and introspection. Silence becomes a canvas upon which the innermost thoughts, emotions, and, some believe, the voice of the divine can be heard. Solitude, in turn, creates a sacred space where one can retreat from the noise of the external world and engage in a dialogue with the inner self. In various spiritual teachings, including those within Christianity, the concept of the kingdom of God within oneself holds profound significance. It suggests that the divine, the source of wisdom and peace, resides not in external places, but within the very core of our being. This internal kingdom is a sanctuary where the soul connects with a higher purpose, and a wellspring of strength, guidance, and serenity can be found. As we navigate an era marked by constant connectivity through technology, the challenge arises. How do we find the kingdom of God within ourselves, amidst the persistent hum of notifications, digital demands, and the ever-present buzz of a connected world? The constant stream of information, virtual interactions, and the allure of instant connectivity can create a cacophony that drowns out the subtle whispers of our innermost selves. The contrast of the kingdom of God within and the world of constant connectivity prompts reflection on how to strike a harmonious balance. How can individuals maintain a connection with their inner selves and the divine in the face of a technologically saturated environment? The challenge lies in fostering moments of intentional silence and carving out spaces of solitude amid the digital noise. While technology offers incredible opportunities for connection, productivity, and access to information, it also challenges us to intentionally rediscover the value of silence and solitude. Whether through meditation, contemplative practices, or mindful disconnection from digital devices, individuals can create intentional spaces for quiet introspection and communion with the divine. Amid the technological marvels and societal shifts brought forth by innovations like Neuralink, the call to find the kingdom of God within oneself stands as a timeless reminder. It urges individuals to navigate the delicate balance between embracing the benefits of technology and preserving the sacred moments of silence and solitude. that allow for inner exploration, spiritual connection, and a deeper understanding of the self. As we journey through this digital age, the pursuit of the kingdom within remains a guiding light, offering solace, wisdom, and a profound connection to the divine. Elon Musk warns that if the Christian community ignores this powerful phenomenon and does not move quickly to address it, the lines that separate technology from faith could eventually be erased.
I think it's a lie when OpenAI says that this is not, none of these guys say they're training on copyrighted data.
That's a lie.
It's a lie, straight up.
It's a straight up lie.
Okay.
100%.
So then,
obviously, it's been trained on copyrighted data.
Elon Musk's startling accusation sends shockwaves through the tech community, alleging that OpenAI is deceiving the public.
So it was a unipolar world for AI. And we've got a unipolar world, but the person who controls that does not, or at least did not seem to be concerned about AI safety. That sounded like a real problem.
With a bold declaration, Elon Musk calls into question the integrity of OpenAI, challenging the organization's supposed altruistic motives.
So then basically sort of a fatalistic resignation helped me sleep at night because I was having trouble sleeping at night because of AI danger. Now, what to do about it? I mean, I've been the biggest, the one banging the drum the hardest, by far the longest, or at least one of the longest for AI danger. And these regulatory things that are happening, the single biggest reason they're happening is because of me.
So, so you helped to the creation of OpenAI. You put in as much as $50 million.
More than helped. It wouldn't exist without me.
It wouldn't exist without you. So,
I came up with a name. The name OpenAI refers to open source. Okay, so what's the opposite of Google? Would be an open source nonprofit, because Google is closed source for profit. And that profit motivation can be potentially dangerous.
As Elon Musk exposes what he perceives as a falsehood, he shines a spotlight on the ethical implications of AI development.
I think generally it would be a good idea to have some kind of AI regulatory agency, and you start off with a team that gathers insight to get a maximum understanding. Then you have some proposed rulemaking, and then eventually you have regulations that are put in place. And this is something we have for everything that is a potential danger to the public.
So I think, in my view, AI is more dangerous than and we regulate. You can't just go make in your backyard. I think we should have some kind of regulation with AI.
Elon Musk's candid criticism of OpenAI underscores his commitment to transparency and accountability in the realm of artificial intelligence.
should you have gotten governance for that money? Should you have gotten some level of control, perhaps, in retrospect?
I fully admit to being a huge idiot here. Anyway, so OpenAI was meant to be OpenAI, open as an open source. It was created as a 501c3, so part of it is also in the beginning. I thought, look, this is probably a hopeless endeavor. How could we possibly compete with? How could OpenAI possibly compete with Google DeepMind?
We had a long discussion, agreed that there's merit to AI regulation, and immediately took action in this regard. So sometimes we'll get this comment of well, if the West does AI regulation, surely then what if China doesn't and then leaps ahead? And I think they're also taking it very seriously, because, the opposite of whatever moral constraints you program into the system.
In a dramatic twist, Elon Musk accuses OpenAI of prioritizing profit over public safety, sparking controversy and debate.
I would prefer to live in interesting times. And we live in the most interesting of times. I think for a while there, I was really getting demotivated and losing sleep over the threat of AI danger. And then I finally became fatalistic about it and said, well, even if I knew it was certain, would I choose to be alive at that time or not? And I said I probably would choose to be alive at that time because it's the most interesting thing, even if there's nothing I could do about it.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
How much money did you give them?
So I'm not sure the exact number, but it's some number on the order of $50 million. So the man, fate loves irony, next level. So I used to be close friends with Larry Page, and I would stay at his house, and we'd have these conversations long into the evening about AI, and I would be constantly urging him to be careful about the danger of AI, and he was really not concerned about the danger of AI and was quite cavalier about it, and at the time, Google, especially after their acquisition of DeepMind, had 3/4 of the world's AI talent. They had obviously a lot of computers and a lot of money. And then the final straw was Larry calling me a speciesist for being pro-human consciousness instead of machine consciousness. And I'm like, well, yes, I guess I am. I am a speciesist.
Elon Musk's warning about the dangers of unchecked AI highlights the need for rigorous regulation and oversight in the tech industry.
I don't know, except to say that by the time these lawsuits are decided, we'll have digital God. So ask digital God at that point. These lawsuits won't be decided before on a time frame that is relevant.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think we live, there's that, I don't know if it's actually a real Chinese saying or not, but may you live in interesting times,
right.
Which is apparently not a good thing. Now, this tends to cause the AI accelerationists to get up in arms because they think AI is sort of heaven, basically.
Well, you typically don't like regulation. You've pushed back on regulators for the most part in the world of Tesla and so many instances where we read articles about you pushing back on the regulators. I'm so curious why, in this instance, now you own one of these businesses.
Well, there's regulation around anything which is a physical danger or a danger to the public. So, like cars are heavily regulated, communications are heavily regulated, rockets and aircraft are heavily regulated. The general philosophy about regulation is that when something is a danger to the public, that there needs to be some government oversight.
One of the things about training on data has been this idea that you're not going to train or that these things are not being trained on people's copyrighted information. Historically, that's been the concept.
Yeah, that's a huge lie.
Say that again?
Yes, these AIs are all trained on copyrighted data, obviously.
It does seem weird that something can be a non-profit open source and somehow transform itself into a for-profit closed source. I mean, this would be like let's say you funded an organization to save the Amazon rainforest, and instead they became a lumber company and chopped down the forest and sold it for money. And you'd be therefore like, oh, wait a second, that's the exact opposite of what I gave the money for.
Yeah.
Is that legal? That doesn't seem legal. And if it is, and in general, if it is legal to start a company as a nonprofit and then take the IP and transfer it to a for-profit that then makes tons of money, shouldn't everyone start? Shouldn't that be the default?
Right.
And then I also think it's important to understand the when push comes to shove, let's say they do create some digital superintelligence, almost godlike intelligence. Well, who's in control?
Yeah.
And what exactly is the relationship between OpenAI and Microsoft? And I do worry that Microsoft actually may be more in control than, say, the leadership team at OpenAI realizes. I mean, Microsoft, as part of Microsoft's investment, they have rights to all of the software, all of the model weights, and everything necessary to run the inference system.
So they essentially have a great deal of control.
At any point, Microsoft could cut off OpenAI.
With a sense of urgency, Elon Musk urges cautioning against the unchecked proliferation of AI technology.
I stopped using TikTok when I felt the AI probing my mind, and it made me uncomfortable. So I stopped using it. And in terms of anti-Semitic content, I mean, TikTok is rife with that. It has the most viral anti-Semitic content by far.
But do you think the Chinese government is using it to manipulate the minds of Americans?
No.
Is that something that you think we should worry about? I mean, you have different states that are trying to ban it.
I don't think this is some Chinese government plot. But it is, the TikTok algorithm is entirely AI powered. So it is really just trying to find the most viral thing possible. It's what is going to keep you glued to the screen. Right? That's it. Now, on sheer numbers, there are on the order of 2 billion Muslims in the world, and I think much smaller number of Jewish people. What, 20 million, something? Many orders of magnitude fewer. So if you just look at content production, just on sheer numbers basis, this is going to be overwhelmingly anti-Semitic.
I mean, this seemed like an ant against an elephant, which is not a contest. And I was also, I was instrumental in recruiting the key scientists and engineers, most notably Ilya Sutskever. In fact, Ilya went back and forth several times because he would say he's going to join OpenAI, then Demis would convince him not to, then I would convince him to do so, and this went back and forth several times, and ultimately he decided to join OpenAI, and really Ilya joining was the linchpin for OpenAI being ultimately successful.
So you're very...
Elon Musk's skepticism towards OpenAI's intentions raises important questions about the intersection of technology and ethics.
In fact, I think a lot of people perhaps don't quite realize that they're already a cyborg. So you've got your limbic system, your sort of basic drives, your cortex, which is the thinking and planning, and then you have a tertiary layer, which is your computers, your devices, your phones, laptops, all the servers that exist, the applications. And in fact, I think probably a lot of people have found that if you leave your cell phone behind...
Take it away.
If you get
Get panicking.
Yeah, if you forget your cell phone, it's like missing limb syndrome. You've like where'd that thing go? Losing your cell phone is like missing limb syndrome. So, because it is, your cell phone is an extension of yourself. The limitation is bandwidth. So the rate at which you can input, or I should say output information into your phone or computer is very slow. So with a phone, it's really just the speed of your thumb movements, and with, best case scenario, you're a speed typist on a keyboard, but even that data rate is very slow. We're talking about tens, maybe hundreds of bits per second, whereas a computer can communicate in trillions of bits per second. So and this is admittedly somewhat of a Hail Mary shot or whatever, is that if you can improve the bandwidth between your cortex and your digital tertiary self, then you can achieve better cohesion between what humans want and what AI does. At least that's one theory. I'm not saying this is a sure thing. It's just one potential iron in the fire. If ultimately, hundreds of millions or billions of people get a high bandwidth interface to their digital tertiary self, their AI self effectively, then that seems like that probably leads to a better future for humanity.
As Elon Musk challenges the status quo, he advocates for greater transparency and ethical responsibility in AI research and development.
As I said a moment ago, one should not take what is viewed in the media as being the whole picture. There are literally hundreds, this is not an exaggeration, so there are probably 100 million regulations that my companies comply with. And there are probably 5 that we don't. And if we disagree with some of those regulations, it's because we think the regulation that is meant to do good doesn't actually do good.
In a bold move, Elon Musk calls for increased scrutiny and accountability, challenging OpenAI to uphold the highest standards of integrity and trustworthiness.
So if it is, if we're in demonstration, we've got aircraft with the FAA and rockets, there's anything that is a danger to the public over time, we have learned, as often the hard way, after many people have, to have a regulatory agency to protect public safety. And I'm not someone who thinks that regulation is some panacea where it's only good. Of course, there are some downsides to regulation in that things move a bit slower. And sometimes you get regulatory capture and that kind of thing. But on balance, I think the public would not want to get rid of most regulatory agencies. And you can think of it also as like the regulatory agency being like a referee. You know, what sports game doesn't have a referee? You need someone to make sure that people are playing fairly, not breaking the rules. And that's why basically every sport has a referee of one kind or another. So that's the rationale for AI safety. And I've been pushing this all around the world. And when I was in China a few months ago, meeting with some of the senior leadership, my primary topic was AI safety and regulation.
I think we shouldn't discount the possibility of nuclear war.
In a world where immigration patterns are reshaping continents, it's essential to consider the delicate balance between cultural preservation and environmental stewardship. Elon Musk, a pioneer in sustainable technology, sheds light on this complex issue. As he delves into the demographic shifts and the ecological concerns surrounding immigration, Musk emphasizes the importance of maintaining cultural identities while advocating for a pragmatic approach to environmental sustainability. Join us as we explore Musk's insights and delve into the nuanced intersections of culture, immigration, and environmentalism.
Immigrations is coming in Europe and is coming in America from the south of America and then Europe from the south of the Mediterranean Sea. What do you think about that?
Well, I think one can't depend on other countries for immigration. And in fact, if you look at, say, the population worldwide, and this is almost everywhere in the world, and it seems to be a function of how once a country industrializes, once a country urbanizes, the population immediately starts to decline. So one could say, for example, like China could not possibly solve its population with immigration, because if China is currently tracking to be maybe lose 40% of its population every generation, that would be 700 million, 800 million people, or roughly 700 million people. It's a lot, basically. You'd have to have the entire United States immigrate there twice every generation to simply maintain numbers, just for China. So immigration, there simply aren't enough numbers in immigration. And I think there is value to a culture. We don't want cultures. We don't want Japan to disappear. We don't want Italy as a culture to disappear. We don't want France as a culture to disappear. I think we have to maintain the sort of reasonable cultural identity of the various countries, or they simply will not be those countries. Italy is the people of Italy. The buildings are there, but really, what is Italy? Italy is the people of Italy. To be clear, on immigration overall, I'm very much in favor of legal immigration. I think that generally, one should welcome to a country anyone who is willing to work hard and is honest, has high integrity, and will add to any given country. If somebody is an asset to the country, why not have them join? That's obviously a great thing to do. So I think it's good actually to have an increase in legal immigration, and
legal with paper, with
just some approval process, but with a simple requirement that, look, if somebody is going to add to a country, like just really hardworking and high integrity, let them in. I think that's great. But if it's illegal immigration and there's no filter, well, how do you know who's coming in? You don't know. So you have to have some basis for saying somebody should come in or not come in. And my argument is it should be a very simple basis. Will they add to the country? Will they be a productive part of the economy? And do they admire the culture? Do they want to join because of the culture? Then that's great. But if there's no process for that, then you don't know. I think at least some number of the people that come in will not be necessarily, and I want to be careful because my words will be misconstrued. I'm not saying all illegal immigrants are, I think probably, perhaps most of them are good. But there will be some, if there's no process for reviewing, not at all, then how can you say that everyone who is an illegal immigrant is going to be honest and hardworking? You can't say that because you simply don't know. So I want to be clear, top line, pro-immigration, but let's increase legal immigration. The people that immigrated to this country came from places where there was not freedom of speech. And they were like, you know what, we got to make sure that that's constitutional. Because where they came from, if they said something, they'd be put in prison. Or there'd be, something bad would happen to them. So, and freedom of speech, you have to say, when is it relevant?
It's only relevant when someone you don't like can say something you don't like, or it has no meaning. And as soon as you sort of, throw in the towel and concede to censorship, it is only a matter of time before someone censors you. And that is why we have the First Amendment.
Free speech is only meaningful if you allow people you don't like to say things you don't like. So that's how it's working. That's how you know it's working. Because once you start to censor people you don't like saying things you don't like, it's only a matter of time before that censorship turns on you. Eventually, live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by censorship, die by censorship.
As someone deeply committed to environmentalism and actively working towards a sustainable future, Elon Musk's perspective on the environmental movement is both insightful and thought-provoking. With groundbreaking innovations in electric cars, solar energy, and battery technology, Musk has undoubtedly made significant contributions to environmental preservation. However, he raises a critical concern about the movement veering into extremism.
So, I just think it's, and I speak as someone who is very much an environmentalist. I believe in building a sustainable future for the world. I think that there are very few people who, as an individual, who have done more than I have to help the environment with electric cars and solar and batteries to create a sustainable energy future, because we absolutely need a sustainable energy future. But there is an aspect of the environmental movement that I think has gone too far.
Really, said from you?
Yes. So, said from me, I think I am objectively one of the world's leading environmentalists in terms of doing things.
I would say so.
Like, I'm an environmentalist who does things. I'm of action, not talk. I act. So I feel I can say, as an environmentalist, that the environmentalist movement has gone too far. And in that, in the natural extension of the environmentalist movement, if you go too far, you start to look at humanity as a bad thing. You start to look at humanity as though we are a plague on the surface of the earth, as though humanity is a bad thing. And in fact, there are some people who think and say explicitly that, in fact, there was on the front page of the New York Times, there was a guy who said, there are 8 billion people on Earth, it would be better if there were none, which is crazy.
Elon Musk urges a balanced approach to energy transition. Acknowledging the role of oil and gas, he emphasizes gradual change towards sustainability, fostering hope and excitement for the future.
And I don't think we should demonize oil and gas. I think we should say, look, that is obviously necessary in the short term and the medium term too, and it'll take several decades to become sustainable. So I think if we just, without getting too worried about it, seek to have a sustainable energy future gradually, then that's what will happen. And so, but I think that some of the environmentalist movement is part of what is causing people to lose hope in the future. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we should have hope in the future. We should be excited about the future, and we should build the future we want.
Elon Musk's critique of woke culture sheds light on its divisive nature, which he likens to a virus amplifying racism, sexism, and other divisions. Instead of fostering unity and meritocracy, he argues, it perpetuates a harmful civil war mentality, devoid of joy or celebration.
That illness, woke mind illness. What's that virus?
Yeah, so
it's coming to Europe. I have to advise you, huh?
Yes. Well, this is not something you should import from America. Please don't import the woke mind virus. It's bad. So essentially, that, to summarize maybe the woke mind virus, it consists of creating very divisive identity politics. So it actually amplifies woke virus. Mind virus, in my view, amplifies racism, amplifies, frankly, sexism, and all the isms. And while claiming to do the opposite, it actually divides people and makes them sort of hate each other, and it makes people hate themselves. And it's also anti-meritocratic. It's not merit-based. So you want to have people succeed based on how hard they work and the talents, not who they are, whether they're man, woman, what race or gender, that stuff is all it's an artificial mental civil war that is created. And it's not, and let me say, it's no fun, okay? It is like woke mind virus and fun are incompatible. There's no fun in that. No joy. Woke mind virus is all about condemning people instead of celebrating people. Like when in the woke, it just doesn't celebrate. It's all about condemning and being divisive and being just, I think it's just evil, frankly.
Elon Musk reflects on the need for regulation in various industries, highlighting his influence on the regulatory landscape. As discussions arise about regulating social media, Musk emphasizes the importance of oversight for public safety, drawing parallels with heavily regulated sectors like automotive and aerospace.
These regulatory things that are happening, the single biggest reason they're happening is because of me.
Do you think they're ever going to get their arms around it? We talked to the vice president this afternoon. She said she wants to regulate it. People have been trying to regulate social media for years and have done nothing effectively.
Well, there's regulation around anything which is like a physical danger or a danger to the public. So like cars are heavily regulated, communications are heavily regulated, rockets and aircraft are heavily regulated. The general philosophy about regulation is that when something is a danger to the public, that there needs to be some government oversight. So I think, in my view, AI is more dangerous than nuclear bombs. And we regulate nuclear bombs. You can't just go make a nuclear bomb in your backyard. I think we should have some kind of regulation with AI. Now, this tends to cause the AI accelerationists to get up in arms because they think AI is sort of heaven, basically.
But you typically don't like regulation. You've pushed back on regulators for the most part in the world of Tesla. So many instances where we read articles about you pushing back on the regulators. I'm so curious why, in this instance, now you own one of these businesses.
As I said a moment ago, one should not take what is viewed in the media as being the whole picture. There are literally hundreds. This is not an exaggeration. So there are probably 100 million regulations that my companies comply with, and there are probably 5 that we don't. And if we disagree with some of those regulations, it's because we think the regulation that is meant to do good doesn't actually do good.
But that's an interesting thing.
Defying regulations for
but the question is, if there are laws and rules, whether the idea is that you're making the decision that the law and the rule shouldn't be the law and the rule, and then, right? Isn't?
No, I'm saying you're fundamentally mistaken, and it should be obvious that you're mistaken. My company's automotive is heavily regulated. We would not be allowed to put cars on the road if we did not comply with this vast body of regulation. Now, you could fill up the stage with literally, 6 foot high, with the regulations that you have to comply with to make a car. Right. Would make you could have a room full of phone books. That's how big the regulations are. And if you don't comply with all of those, you can't sell the car. And if we don't comply with all the regulations for rockets or for Starlink, they shut us down. So in fact, I am incredibly compliant with regulations. Now, once in a while, there'll be something that I disagree with. The reason I would disagree with it is because I think the regulation in that particular case, in that rare case, does not serve the public good. And therefore, I think it is my obligation to object to a regulation that is meant to serve the public good but doesn't. That's the only time I object. Not because I seek to object.
Elon Musk highlights Tesla's unique approach to patents, emphasizing their open-source nature and the absence of anti-competitive practices. Unlike other companies, Tesla and SpaceX have chosen to facilitate innovation by sharing technologies, even with competitors.
So at Tesla, we have open-sourced our patents. Anyone can use our patents for free. How many companies do you know who've done that? Can you name one? I can't. At SpaceX, we don't use patents. So, once in a while we'll file a patent just so some patent troll doesn't cause trouble. But we're not stopping any. We've done nothing anti-competitive. We've done nothing to stop our competitors.
I'm not suggesting you are at all.
No, I just want to clarify for the audience, because some companies have done anti-competitive things. I think the strange thing, or the unusual thing about SpaceX and Tesla is that we've done things that have helped our competition. So at Tesla, we have made our supercharger system open access. We've made our charger technology available for free to the other manufacturers.
The reason
no walled garden. We could have put a wall up.
You asked me what do I think of artificial intelligence?
Obviously.
Well, you can think of artificial intelligence as this is perhaps it's the biggest inflection point in intelligence since Homo sapiens. Artificial intelligence will be essentially a sort of a new species, or is a new species. So I think one of the biggest challenges, if I look at, say, civilizational risk, the risk to the future of humanity, birth rate is one of them. If we just don't have kids and dwindle away, that's one which I've talked a lot about. The other is, there's always like potentially nuclear war, of course, that kind of thing. Then AI is also an existential risk, and I think we need to be careful with the advent of AI, but it's very much a double-edged sword. You can think of AI as kind of like the magic genie, that like digital superintelligence will be capable of doing
anything.
Pretty much anything. But understand the nature of this beautiful universe that we find ourselves in, and the meaning of life, or even what questions to ask about meaning of life. Let us explore this wondrous creation and have a good time doing it.